Hi guys, good morning, or I should say good afternoon. I'm filming this rather late for today. It's been a long day and I've been trying to relax before getting into doing this. My name is Dan and this is my channel Engelgeist. For those of you that are new, welcome. For those of you that are returning, welcome back. For those of you that support me over on Patreon, thank you so very much for your subscriptions. I greatly appreciate them. This is the Sunday reading. It is the weekly underpinning reading, so it's the energy of the week throughout the week, kind of the energy that lies beneath the daily forecast that we'll watch going throughout the week, right? It is originally created for October 16th through the 22nd. So keep that in mind, but it's not solely set for that day. If you're receiving it on a particular day and it just is fitting your situation, even just solely for that day, by all means, utilize the reading. The readings have a way of finding us when we need them, kind of thing. For those of you that are new, please check out the drop-down menu underneath any of my videos on YouTube. In there is housekeeping rules, what decks I'm using, ways to contact me for a private reading, where to follow me on social media, and simple ways to support the channel. Supporting the channel, you can hit that thumbs up button if you enjoy my content. You can share my videos out with your friends. Leave me a question or comment on the video. I greatly appreciate that. Subscribe to my Patreon channel. You get to see the daily video a day early. What's the other thing? And subscribe. For God's sakes, please subscribe. All right, so let's look at these cards and see what's going on. Each card will represent for like maybe a day or two or possibly three, depending on how quickly you're moving through the energy. Okay. So we have Temperance starting out the week. I'm okay with her. Sagittarian energy, major arcana, very peaceful, remaining calm, staying in our lane. I love that her eyes are closed. It's like, if I don't see it, it's not real. You see all of those waves behind her? Let me bring this a little bit closer. She's got a lot of waves behind her, but she also has those stars around her, like her head, right? It's moderation, balance, guidance, and healing is what it says around her head. She has this sort of halo about her, which to me is about trusting our sixth and seventh, our knowing and our intuition. It might be we need to turn a blind eye to a situation that feels tumultuous right now. That would be the water going on around us. There could be things tugging at us emotionally that Temperance is asking us to be like, hey, just hold back, just wait, keep pouring those cups back and forth, deal with the emotions that need to be addressed, right? Like all of the water behind her could be the swell of emotions that's underneath the surface for us within a situation or a person or ourselves even. But she's only dealing with that one set of cups and that water that she's pouring back and forth, meaning she's managing what is most important. She's managing it carefully, kindly, compassionately. Temperance is often depicted by an angel. It's like angelic energy, right? Remaining in our own angelic energy or in our own space of peace and harmony within ourselves, even amidst whatever might be going on around us. Temperance is, because it's Sagittarian energy, it connects to the fire signs, which is spirit. Right. So maintaining that care, that pause, that even almost a disconnection in a way, with her eyes closed there. If we have to disconnect from situations in the early part of this week just to maintain our balance and our grace, by all means do so. She's a quiet card, right? Temperance, there's a couple of major arcana cards. Temperance is a high on my list of favorite cards, right? My very favorite card is the Star. And that's another one that's a card of sort of inaction. It's a card of gentle grace. It's a card of just owning who we are. Temperance is about not only owning who we are, but like still caring for it or maintaining it, nurturing it. Even if it's not us, maybe it's a situation that feels bigger than us or outside of our control or could sweep us up. It doesn't have to when temperance is there. Temperance is there to remind us that we can hold our own. We can go inward. We can just pour our cups back and forth and remain sort of middle of the road. And I don't mean middle of the road in like non-committal or not making a decision. It's about, just allowing things to be as they are and not getting worked up about them. Now let's look at the next card. We have the 10 of Pentacles. Jesus, I'll take it. 10 of Pentacles would be earth energy, very, very grounded. 10 of Pentacles tends to indicate the end of a cycle, right? This could be the end of a 3D cycle. This could be very much an end of a 3D cycle for you in, say, a career, a job, dealing with money. This usually is an influx of money, right? It's usually about family, providing, taking care of yourself and everyone that is around you in a very big, sort of grand, abundant way. I would say through the piece of temperance in the early part of the week, if things are off or feeling weird, by the midweek, we should feel grounded and be able to see the riches and the abundance that are around us, whether that be actual material money or relationships with family, loved ones. However, there should be a joy, a celebration, an abundance that we can tap into and create more of that, like more prosperity, more fruitfulness, all of that. So I'm kind of gigging on this card as the midweek card. I think that that's a beautiful midweek card. The end of the week card, oh my God. 2 of Cups. It says at the bottom, partnership, harmony, and peace. Give me a minute. The 2 of Cups to me is oftentimes more connected, even though it's minor arcana. It's probably my third favorite card of the deck. I mean, I've got my first and second are the Star and the Page of Cups, but I love the 2 of Cups. I love the Ace of Cups. I love Temperance. There's a lot of other cards that I really, really love and are very dear and special to me. 2 of Cups is very much one of them. 2 of Cups is about, in my opinion, it is about 2 people, souls, aspects within ourselves. Maybe there's some of you Sally singles out there that are just like, I don't want no man. I don't need a man in my life. Blah, 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 whatever. 2s can be about the relationship to the self also. But what this is about maintaining that connection with either within the self or within another. Coming to a new not a new connection, but to a reconnection maybe for some of us, or a deeper connection within whatever it is that we're in, where we sort of maybe find ourselves again, and I'm not saying find ourselves through another person, because that's codependence, which as a Pisces, I'm good at that. But what I mean is find ourselves through learning about ourselves, through being in relation with another person. And 2 of Cups is oftentimes a romantic card, but this for some of you could be a good friend or a family member that we love dearly, that shows us, that mirrors to us a bit of who we are. That plant growing up between them is beautiful. And to me, it feels like it's not only growing up between them, like there's growth, but there's also those leaves coming over their heads to protect them, to shelter them in this love, right? Or in this union, this coming together. October's been rough, guys. The other thing I'll say about the 2 of Cups, especially with the Rider-Waite deck, is that there's a catechist, I believe it's pronounced, and it's that, that winged lion's head that has 2 snakes that go around it, which is oftentimes the symbol of medicine now. It's been adopted as the symbol of like doctors, right? And that represents sort of a healing that takes place within the 2 of Cups too, because the idea is that the 2 people on the 2 of Cups, they're normally facing one another, And they're mirroring for each other kind of what they need to see, both good and bad, within themselves to be better people, to be better versions of themselves, to attain higher love, higher connection, all of that. And I think that's what the Two of Cups represents. And it in its, meaning is that there's a healing that takes place through your union, either with whether it's within yourself and a deepening connection to yourself, or within a relationship to another party that you care very deeply about. Doesn't mean it's always going to be easy, but it might mean that in some of that dis-ease, struggle, or whatever, we learn about ourselves. We mirror back to one another both positive and negative aspects, and then it's up to us to allow that cup or that love to drive us to want to aspire to be better, to want to not that we have to change to be better, but to want to grow into something more, to evolve. All right, so I'm going to stop being Timmy Tears right now, and I am going to get back to this reading. I feel like this is going to be a very good week, and I feel like I need it. I hope I'm included in this reading. And for me, I'm a Pisces. I'm like a triple Pisces. So, tears aren't necessarily a bad thing. So for those of you that are listening to me cry and going oh, poor Dan. No, it's not poor Dan. It's this is just who I am. This is just who I am. I feel things very deeply. And I have to let it flow through me, because if I don't, it comes out sideways another way. And it's not good. Okay, get it together, Dan. I'm going to shuffle one more time because I didn't like that only one card cut off the deck. That was weird. And that could just be emotions. Ugh. Okay, now that's a cut. That's a cut I can get behind. All right, let's go to the Mystic Oracle card set. We have, what the hell? Oh, this is Fox, and it's Cunning. I couldn't tell what it was because the skull here, I was like, wait, what is that skull? And then I saw the fox's face. I love that the transformational butterfly is at the bottom. Let me read you Cunning. It's interesting to me because he feels actually opposite a lot of what I see here, because a lot of this to me feels very pure, beautiful, both the temperance, the peace of temperance, and the tranquility of temperance, the abundance and the groundedness of the Ten of Pentacles, and then the love that's found in the Two of Cups. Cunning to me, it's like, I don't think we have to be cunning to get this week. It feels like it's going to come down on us, is my hope. But let's see what Fox has to say, because I know we've seen him once, but I don't remember his story. Cunning just seems like, do we have to manipulate or something? But I don't think that's the case. This card represents shrewdness, wit, and astute intellect. Before Christianity subverted the fox into a creature of deceit, they were revered by the Celts as a being of wise counsel and logical reasoning. The fox's pelt is said to contain great magic, and cunning was seen as a positive trait necessary for the tactics, logic, and diplomacy of war. The fox card in this deck represents a tactical and knowledgeable person, one who prefers words over action. And we have no wands, which would be action cards thus far. Let's see what the clarifiers have to say. The fox is a stealthy and clever predator. The fox card might be urging subtlety and tact. That would be temperance, guys, and the Two of Cups even, in pursuing one's goals. A heavy hand is not always necessary, and the fox card encourages refinement and delicacy. And this reading feels rather delicate. Foxes are adaptable creatures, and by approaching the problem rationally and with a delicate hand, you will best discern how to move forward. Shadow reading. Much like the raccoon dog, the fox is often associated by both Asian and North American mythology with being a trickster or shapeshifter. The shadow of this card may warn you to be careful of those who could manipulate you or use your words to make you question yourself. The correspondences are earth. The flora is aspen, primrose, foxglove, and citronella. The stones are muscovite, amethyst, aquamarine, and blue kyanite. The spell work: promote wit and logic in difficult situations, deal with manipulative people, protection from being taken advantage of, and warding against feeling tongue-tied. Now, let's look at our clarifiers. So, first out is the King of Pentacles. I'll take him, especially with that 10 of Pentacles there. He's a master manifester. I love that his face is heading that way towards the future. What is it that we want? How do we want to create it? We start off slow and gentle in the beginning of the week. We might pick up steam and see possibility and abundance and opportunity in the midweek. We're fused by love by the end of the week. And the whole time we're manifesting something that in the 3D that we deserve, that we want. The king is going to be grounded, discerning, smart about his choices. He's not going to be rash. He's not going to be crazy. He's going to be, because he's earth and he's pentacles, he's going to be sort of maybe more, careful is not the right word. Discerning is a good word. Deliberate is a good word. He takes into account others too while he's doing it, because he's the most physical of the kings in my mind, right? He's going to move slightly slower than the other kings, but he's going to take in the physicality of everyone or everything, and that the well-being of that in this situation. So I do like that card. This is the 8 of Swords. 8 of Swords would be indicative of being trapped in one's thoughts, not realizing that there's a way out or a thought out. This might be where some of that cunning of the fox comes in, where if we find ourselves in disbelief, maybe in the early part of the week with all of this watery emotional stuff that could be going on, requiring us to remain calm and remain centered, we could be dealing with some of that and feeling stuck or trapped. I watch another reader, and he's been telling a lot of us, stay out of the 8 of Swords, stay out of the 8 of Swords. So don't get yourself into this place of feeling caught, because what I will say about that is that if you do, you kind of negate the beauty of everything that's going on in these 4 cards right here, and even the intelligence of the fox. If we sink down into this idea of, oh no, I'm stuck in this, I can't get out of this, this is, it's all falling apart, da-da-da-da-da. We're choosing to look at the situation from a limited perspective, and we don't want to do that. So if we find ourselves feeling limited, we need to remember that 8s first and foremost are about balance. But the 8 of Swords is also about realizing where there were restrictions, or where we thought there were restrictions. There's actually a castle on the hill right behind her, and there's no swords in front of her. She can move forward at any point in time when she wants to allow herself the freedom to do so. And then the last card is the 2 of Swords. Now, to me, 2 of Swords would oftentimes be associated with like a no, right? And he's usually kind of a negative card. But what I think is interesting here is that that Temperance card has her eyes closed, and 2 of these women are blindfolded in these Swords cards. I almost feel like this is telling us, do not listen to our thoughts this week. Swords represents air energy in the mind, right? And how we think and what we communicate. And there's a lot of water behind that Temperance, but there's also a lot of water behind the 2 of Swords, if you can see that. And there's water underneath the feet of the 8 of Swords. And if we're trying to avoid how we feel about a situation, or trying to outthink our way out of a situation this week, kind of like the cunning of a fox, I think we may not be able to do so without causing ourselves sort of discomfort, if that makes sense. The 2 of Swords to me here feels like almost like just like sit still and listen to that moon that's above your head. Listen to that intuition. Listen to that peace, that temperance that resides within. Use these blindfolds that are on these women to your advantage, like this closed-eyed Temperance card, where she's choosing this. These are not being imposed upon. Do you see what I'm saying? It's a difference. But how we choose to use the energy still can ultimately connect us to the moon, to our intuition, and hopefully free us from the limiting thoughts or beliefs that could be blocking us, making us feel trapped, even when we're not. She's in an all-white gown of purity. There's a whole... It's almost like, to me, these 2 cards feel like they're trying to avoid the emotional aspect of all of this. And there's a lot of stuff like in these cards here that is really beautiful, that brought up a lot of emotions in me, right? Like, who wouldn't want this fucking reading? The fucking, Temperance, the Ten of Pentacles, and the Two of Cups all in 1 week. Like, I'm like, sign me up. But then when I say that, I'm like, I start to cry because it's so beautiful, because I want it so bad. But that part of me that wants it so bad, there's also an aspect of me that sometimes doesn't believe maybe I deserve it. And that might be my Eight of Swords and my Two of Swords trying to stop me from believing. But the King of Pentacles is like, no, bitch, we're going to make this happen in the 3D. I can make this happen if you trust me. Ground, stay centered, stay in your temperance, step forward from the Eight of Swords. Remind yourself you're not trapped. This is not the end. It's not, and if for some of you, if the Two of Swords is an actual no, like if it's a drawing of a boundary that you need to create, by all means, go ahead and do so. That's not a bad card. Two of Swords is not a bad card when asking for what we need, like, no, you too shall not pass. This is not, these are not your droids. You know what I'm saying? Like, it could be that energy too with the Two of Swords. It could be about drawing a very clear line of, no, I'm not going to entertain that. I'm only entertaining the beauty that is within those 3 cards for this week. But then for others of you, and probably the majority of you, which you're like me, we overthink things. And we overthink ourselves out of the joy and the peace and the harmony. And it makes it that much harder for the King of Pentacles to manifest the abundance that we see in that Ten of Pentacles and the love that we see in that Two of Cups. This will be an interesting week of readings, because I think that this will be a really good week. I think that this is a week of maybe a big giant exhale for those of you that had a hard time in the beginning of October or throughout October, like I did. This to me feels like an exhale. I will say this: that 8 and that 2 of Swords do speak to the fact that the work is minimal. There's still a little bit of work to release some of our limiting beliefs, our restrictions, our fears, and to trust the gifts and the blessings that are around us, and to let them manifest. So the grounding stone, it is on Tiger's Eye, and it's generosity. Now, Two of Cups, generous in love. Ten of Pentacles, generous in wealth, abundance, family. Temperance, generous in patience, calm, centeredness. King of Pentacles, generous with everything he's got. What I mean by that is tap into not the limitations, not the fear, but the bigger picture of everything that's out there and available to you, and allow it to come to you, is my feeling. Be generous with yourself. Be generous with others, of your time, your compassion, your love, your grace, your intelligence. Allow that to inform who you are. And then you understand why these blessing cards want to come. The intelligence of the fox and the sacredness of that. If you be generous with that this week, whether it's only in your own life and situations or within the lives and situations of others, it's like, this is the week to connect outward. Don't stay stuck inward unless you're stuck inward in that state of temperance in the early part of the week. I hope that makes sense, you guys. That is your reading for this week. We'll see how this energy unfolds. I greatly appreciate each and every one of you for watching, like seriously, because there's about maybe 30 or 40 of you. Please share the video out. Leave a question or comment, and subscribe to the channel, especially if you're new to me. And I look forward to seeing you guys. Oh, and hit the thumbs up, please. And I look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow to see how these cards continue to change. Take care. Bye-bye.